Welcome to ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball, part of the ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm. Hey, the Tigers are suddenly on the prowl again after a spring slumber. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're starting to look like the favorites they are to win the division. Sluggers Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder have combined to drive in 99 runs, but Carlos Beltran has been a one-man wrecking crew for the defending world champion Cardinals. We give you a look at the standings now, part of our ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm. And right now, both of these teams knocking around 500, but they're both in the thick of it in their divisions. The Tigers 2 back in the AL Central. The Cardinals 4.5 out. They fell to Justin Verlander here last night. Hi, everybody. We welcome you to a steamy night here in Detroit. I'm Dave O'Brien, my partner, the 1997 American League Rookie of the Year, Mr. Nomar Garciaparra. And Nomar, 93 degrees here. You know the ball flies when it gets exceptionally warm. We have sluggers up and down the lineup on both sides, so the ball could really jump tonight.
Yeah, if I'm a pitcher today, I'm hoping a cold front comes through to kind of cool off some of these hot bats. And what are the hot bats we're talking about? Well, on the Cardinals side, might arguably be the NL MVP in the first half of this season in Carlos Beltran. Missing Albert Pujols in that lineup, you got a guy who has 19 home runs and tied for first in the NL lead and 48 RBIs, which is 4th in the NL. And on the other side, one of my favorite hitters to watch in Miguel Cabrera, 351, 7 home runs, and 33 RBIs in the last 37 games, and I don't see him slowing down. And hitting right behind him for protection, a guy who's really maturing, I think, even more as a hitter, with Prince Fielder being 358, 5 home runs, 28 RBIs in his last 33 games. And what's really impressive to me is he has a 397 batting average with runners in scoring position.
So it could be an unfortunate night to be on the mound in the Motor City. Jake Westbrook has that sinker. He can neutralize the Tigers if he's on. His opponent, Rick Porcello, is also a ground ball guy, but he's having some issues. Keep the ball down, boys. Right now, back to the studio and the talented Steve Berthiaume.
Ah, shucks, that Dave O'Brien. He's quite a guy, isn't he? Well, you look confused, as is most of America. Steve Berthiaume, John Kruk will be with you all night here in our Baseball Tonight studios. Let's take a look at what's happened already. Krucky, this is a crazy day for home. Every game had like 10 home runs hit.
Yeah, and there's a couple legitimate. This one here's not. I mean, it's a home run, but it was, you know, that was a fool-me swing, but I mean, that's a powerful man that hit it, though.
It's Yankees and Braves. That's A-Rod's 11th. Here's Robinson Cano's 14th.
Yeah, that one's legitimate.
Even to right field.
But yeah, when it gets hot, you know, a pop-up to right field's a homer in that ballpark, and they took advantage of it. So did Jason Hayward.
Freeman homered, Prado homered, Hayward homered, Ross homered, Hayward homered again. He had 2, numbers 9 and 10. Atlanta beats the Yankees 10-5. Back to Detroit and the uber-talented Dave O'Brien. They'll have Nomar Garciaparra. Nomar's quite a talent as well.
Both are uber.
Nice. Prince Fielder coming up. Stand by, Cardinals and Tigers.
ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by the Volkswagen Jetta. That's the power of German engineering. Spectacular night here in the Motor City. Expecting a big crowd. The Tigers are drawing very well. They're on a pace to draw close to 3 million. There's been a lot of excitement here in Detroit, and plenty obviously in St. Louis. Mike Matheny, the first-year manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, coming off a world championship. But as we bring in Pedro Gomez, Pedro, there has been some whispering about criticism about his ball club right now at 500.
Well, and he understands that that's going to come with the job. You know, Matheny is somebody that I covered when he was a catcher with the Giants, and every time I ever was around him, I always thought, this is what it's like to watch Michigan play Ohio State, except it was every day. This is a guy that gets geared up for anything, whether it's a game of checkers and obviously for a game of baseball. And that is one of the challenges he's told me that he's had to deal with, that he's got to remain consistent. He can't get that geared up. He also understands that not every player is going to be as amped up as he was, and that's part of the learning that he has to do, that it's 25 relationships with the 25 players. Dave?
Yeah, he had some interesting comments that we'll hear a little bit later tonight about the difference between being a manager and a player and how hard it is to take those losses, how it changes when you become the head guy. Here's a look at his starting lineup tonight with the speedy Rafael Furcal at the very top, hitting .283.
Yeah, he's been struggling the last 10 games. 2 hits in his last 36 at-bats, but he still leads the teams in hits with 75, and he's a spark plug at the top of that lineup. And then there's Yadier Molina having a tremendous offensive year. He's 7th in the NL with a .324 batting average, and he's also tied for first among NL catchers with 9 home runs. And then David Freese, last year's NLCS and World Series MVP. Averages a little down, but he's in the NL top 10 in home runs and RBIs.
Has 13 homers. And up against the right-hander Rick Porcello, 4-4, a 5.18 ERA. He's a sinker ball guy who throws a lot of strikes and gets a lot of ground balls when he's going well.
Well, yeah, when he keeps that ball down in the zone is when things are going well. He attacks the strike zone, doesn't walk too many batters. And like you said, the key for him is keeping the ball down. And we mentioned earlier, with this kind of heat, don't keep it up because the ball will fly.
And he's getting hit with .315 averages you saw there. Defensively now, around him on still a sunny night here in Detroit, Barry, Jackson, and Bosch in the outfield. They got Austin Jackson back, and he has lit it up for them offensively. On the infield, Peralta and Cabrera on the left side, Santiago and Prince Fielder on the right side, and Gerald Laird will do the catching tonight as the Cardinals and the Tigers tangle here in an interleague matchup. Great to have you along on this Wednesday night. And a slumping for call in. He takes a strike, says Brian Runge, and we are underway.
You see Furcal kind of run at the ball. He does some of those slap, kind of squares around, slap hits, and try to get back that third baseman. See if he can put it by their head, hit it over their head, or by him.
You mentioned the slide he's in right now. Last 10 games, 2 for 36. So he is fighting it coming into tonight. Skip Schumacher, who the Cardinals just got back, is on deck. Wrapped along first. Nice play, knocked down by Fielder. Tossed to first, and Porcello gets there for the out. Fielder getting behind the bag, reacted quickly, and scooped it up just as quickly.
Well, he's able to knock down that ball and keep it in front of him. Good job by Prince Fielder. And the other thing I like about on that play is that he composed himself. Here's a tough play, takes a tricky hop, he bobbles the ball, but once he had it, composed himself to make sure he gave a nice flip to Porcello, who did an excellent job covering first base.
So here's Schumacher at .310, no homers, 12 runs batted in. Just activated yesterday off the disabled list. He was out with a right hamstring injury.
St. Louis has been dealing with some injuries throughout the season, and it's good to see guys coming off the DL and getting healthy again.
Now, the most important one is Chris Carpenter, but they have lost a bunch of guys. So I guess, you know, on the one hand, you'd say Matheny has done a really solid job with so many players out and so many guys, particularly in the offense, who are out, and yet there they are at the very top in hitting and in runs scored and in home runs.
Yeah, we've heard some criticism about Matheny with regards to that, about they're not scoring enough runs. And I go, well, they're leading the league.
Bounding ball right to Santiago, an easy hop. 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Matt Holliday, who's having a solid year at .283 with 12 home runs. Now offensively, they are runs per game, batting average, on base percentage. I mean, they're right near the top.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of managers out there who will take those numbers, you know, from their offense, being right at the top in those categories. Like I said, the one that wasn't up there with the amount of runs, they lead the National League in runs.
A strike on Holliday. Carlos Beltran on deck. Carlos has certainly become the engine driving this team. Trying to get to a World Series. A ball and a strike on Holliday. Holliday, a guy really likes interleague play, hitting .315 in his career in interleague games. Line to right for a base hit. So a 2-out single, and that'll get Beltran into the box right away. Now in an American League city, he's the DH tonight. Carlos at .305, 19 home runs. He is tied for first in the National League there, and 48 driven in already. He's also hit safely in 11 in a row. Make it 12. Holiday into second, takes the turn. He's heading into third, and he'll reach standing up. So another hit for Carlos Beltran right out of the gate, swinging at the first pitch.
Well, being aggressive on that first pitch, like we said, when you know Porcello, you know the pitcher out there is going to try to pound that strike zone. Go out there and be aggressive on that first pitch, driving the ball right up the middle. Good job by Matt Holliday, recognizing it, that he can get that extra base and go all the way to third. I know there's 2 outs. I know you're in scoring position, you know, at second base, but always better to be at third than second if you can, making sure that, you know, you have it easily, because it puts pressure on the pitcher for that possible wild pitch.
Here's Alan Craig, who had a standout World Series last fall against Texas. Swinging a good bat, as you can see, 327. And he takes strike one. Porcello has had an ugly first inning ERA this season, 11.08. It's the second highest in the majors.
And it's hard to believe that Porcello has that high of an ERA. Especially, he's only walked one leadoff guy to lead off an inning. Every leadoff guy he's only walked one, so he's going after the guy. I mean, it's different if you're giving up that leadoff runner, giving him a free base, and I can see that elevated ERA, but he hasn't been doing that.
Little trickler. The pitcher will get to it. Porcello throws on to first and retires the side. 14 pitches on a 92-degree evening. Cabrera heading for the bat rack. It's always fun to watch him swing. I don't know if Westbrook would necessarily agree. Hey, join our companion broadcast at ESPN.com's Gamecast for advanced stats and interact with Pedro Gomez, which we do every day, and we're the better for it. You can do it on Twitter at Pedro ESPN, _ESPN WNB. Jim Leyland, the venerable manager of the Detroit Tigers, just flat one of the best in the game. Here's a look at his starting lineup. He has Austin Jackson back, and it's made all the difference for his team. Quentin Berry, and then, of course, Miguel Cabrera. There's your top three.
Yeah, well, Quentin Berry went 5 for 5 on Sunday and 2 for 5 yesterday. If he gets on, he can put a lot of pressure on defense, especially with his speed. Miguel Cabrera, he is seeking his 6th season with a .320 batting average, 30 home runs, and 100 RBIs.
He is awfully good. And lurking there against Westbrook, who was 5 and 6. Hot shot up the middle and right through for a base hit. The speedy 25-year-old is on, and Jackson has been praised as the biggest reason that the Tigers have surged lately.
Well, to have him back in the lineup, he definitely does an awful lot of things. He gets on base, he has some speed, he can hit for power as well. He can do a lot of different things, and it is great for those guys. When you have guys like Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder hitting in the middle of your lineup, always more deadly when you have runners on base.
He had been out until recently with an abdominal strain. He's healthy again. And he can steal you a base.
And here's Quentin Berry. I mean, he can handle the bat very well. He's not afraid to hit and run, not afraid to bunt, lay that bunt down, do a lot of little things to help a ball club.
A strike on Berry, a .337 average, no homers, 7 runs batted in for the youngster. They called him up late in May from AAA Toledo. Jackson has 6 stolen bases. He's not running. 1-1. Cabrera next, and then Prince Fielder. So the last thing you want to do if you're Westbrook is give up a couple of base hits right away before the big 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face any of those guys with or without people on base.
In any circumstances, yeah. Jackson back in again. Westbrook was the winning pitcher in relief in the Cardinals' stirring victory in Game 6 of the World Series. He was the guy who pitched in the 11th inning of one of the great World Series games I think I've ever seen against Texas. Shows bunt, pops it up, and right behind the catcher. Molina could not make the play. 1-2. It's really been a tale of 2 seasons for Westbrook. It started out with so much promise. Look at the first 6 starts, Nomar. 4-2 with a 176.
And then you look down there at the bottom, only allowed 1 home run. That's because with that sinker, he keeps the ball down. And this might be a telling thing of that sinker kind of flattening out. I mean, the ERA goes up to 7.05 with 6 home runs allowed.
A .325 batting average and a 1-4 record in the last 7. And if you're pitching like that against the Tigers with sluggers like these guys have, it could be a very short night for Jake Westbrook. Runner goes inside, the throw, not going to get him, and he's up, but he'll retreat to second base. Jackson with a stolen base, his 7th. Well, running against Molina, you do that at your own peril, but it worked.
He got a great jump here, reading that, peeking in, and smart, good heads up right here. Once he gets, I mean, that was a tremendous jump. But good job not trying to force it here, because now you're on second base with nobody out. You know, your job now as Barry is to move him over, but not trying to force it. You know, once he saw the ball go into the outfield.
A little ground ball to the right side here, maybe. We'll see what he's up to with Cabrera on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that stolen base is a rarity. I mean, the Cardinals have allowed just 23 stolen bases this year, which is the 2nd fewest in the major leagues.
See how great he's been, a 4-time Gold Glover.
And you saw right there, because nobody really tries to steal either. You can see how few attempts at stealing bases, because they recognize how good Molina is behind the plate. And not only that, their pitchers also do a good job. They work on keeping guys close to bags and trying to eliminate those stolen bases.
So Jackson in scoring position. Westbrook is clearly concerned about him immediately.
Now with Westbrook in a 2-2 count, I'd like to see that, you know, try to stay outside, especially with that sinking fastball, trying to get Barry not to roll over.
Down he goes. He swung past an 81-mile-an-hour pitch, and Barry fans.
I mean, Westbrook takes something off of this pitch, and you see keeping it down. Nice change up there. And that's the spot he wants, because even if he happens to put that ball in play, been very tough to hit it to the right side because of the location of that changeup.
So now comes the third baseman, Miguel Cabrera, the 6'4", 240-pounder, on a pace to drive in over 100 runs for the 9th consecutive year. Ball 1.
When you look at the numbers once again, the damage that he does year after year, and his walks are down this year, but a big reason why those walks are down is because now he has a guy like Prince Fielder hitting behind him. I mean, the pitchers are going to have to pick their poison. I mean, who do you pitch to right now? Do you put this guy on base so you can face a left-handed Prince Fielder?
In the dirt, stopped by Molina.
I mean, you as a hitter recognize that. You come up when you know you're swinging the bat well, and the type of hitter you are. If you're Miguel Cabrera, you go, well, listen, they're going to be closer to the strike zone, so I'm going to get more opportunities. I may have less walks, but I'm going to have more opportunities to knock people in. The average may go down just a little bit because of that, because they're attacking you more as well.
Hit hard to short. Runner's going to freeze for a call as the great arm will gun him out. So Jackson not going anywhere, and there are 2 down. So Barry with an unproductive out. It may hinge on his strikeout if nothing comes from this inning. But Prince Fielder will determine that. He's hitting .311, 10 homers. He's driven in 44.
Well, that was a big out for Jake Westbrook, because now you can be a lot more careful with the left-handed hitting Prince Fielder at the plate.
You do have a base open. First pitch is up and in for a ball. Prince's little boy Jaden was fielding pop-ups and fly balls in the outfield while his dad was taking BP today. Having a great time out there, hanging with his pop. School's out. Nice play by Westbrook, who's an outstanding fielder. May have taken a hit away there. And the side is retired. Jackson left at second base. Westbrook bearing down to get him. No score after one. Fans still making their way into Comerica. And everyone dressing light tonight on a scalding hot night in Detroit. Nomar Garciaparra, Dave O'Brien with you. Some news and notes. Big news for Atlanta, not good news. Brandon Beachy out for the season. Tommy John. Troy Tulowitzki left groin surgery. They don't know when he'll be back with Colorado. Better news, Roy Oswalt for Texas. He makes his debut on Friday against the Rockies. And if everything goes according to plan, as Molina rakes a base hit to left to begin the second inning here for St. Louis, then we would see Roy Oswalt next Wednesday at Texas, our next Wednesday night baseball telecast against these Tigers.
I think let's hope that happens. Let's hope that means that he actually is healthy and feeling okay, because you don't want anything to happen to anybody. So I think that'll be fun to see.
Let's see if David Freese goes after the first pitch here. He has 21 hits on the first pitch this year, third most in the majors. Facing Rick Porcello with a man on.
Well, we've already seen 2 base hits from the Cardinals on the first pitch with Molina and Beltran.
Taking on the first one and in for a strike. Ian Desmond has 25 hits for the Nationals on the first pitch, and Josh Hamilton is second with 22.
See what happens being aggressive.
You win MVPs. You win batting titles.
That's what you do.
Rookie of the years. That's the second one go as well. 1 ball and 1 strike. Porcello in his 4th season with the Tigers at the major league level. He broke in at the age of 20 in 2009. Made a splash right away, and he won 14 games. Went backward after that. Right at Peralta. To Santiago 1 on to first, close, and a double play. Freese hits into a 6-4-3. Let's check back in with Steve Berthiaume now in our Baseball Tonight studio. Good evening, Steve.
Hi, Dave. Thanks. I'm here with John Kruk, and it's Steven Strasburg versus Chris Archer for the Rays. And poor Chris Archer, Kruk, he has to make his major league debut against Strasburg here. It's going much better for the Nationals than it is for Tampa Bay.
Well, and normally turns out that way when Strasburg's pitching. It goes well for the Nationals.
Yeah, here's what Archer is dealing with. He gave up a double to Lombardozzi, his first major league batter. Then Harper drives him in. The Nats have added 2 more. They're up right now 3-0, and Chris Archer still going.
Guys, thank you very much. That yacker is just ridiculous. That curveball. His changeup is the second best pitch he has, though, behind the fastball. And that's unhittable.
He's got 3 just quality pitches
off
up
the
there.
charts. Yep.
As a hitter, you always have to be ready for that 97 coming at you, 98.
Matt Adams here comes up empty on a swing and a miss, hitting .244 with a couple of home runs. Double play ball moments ago by Freese has cleared the bases. No score in the top of the second here in Detroit. One and 2.
Well, there's another guy. We were just talking about Strasburg. There's another guy you got to look for. 97, 98 has a hammer that just falls off the table. Can throw it, change up to 3 different pitches at you.
Got a win here last night, and that's in there for called strike 3. So Porcello faces only 3 batters. He tosses just 9 pitches. And David Freese, who decided not to swing at the first pitch, may have paid the price. A little frustrated. He hits into a 6-4-3. Banging the wall already.
You know it as the long ball. Dinger and Jack.
Oh, it's tattooed way back to right center. It's disgusting. Gone.
The State Farm Home Run Derby airs Monday, July 9th at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
The big fly to Jimmy Jack. What else did you call the home run?
The dinger.
That was in the promo. They got you on that one. They already put that in. Delman Young slaps that one to the right side, right at Scalzo for a quick out. You may see a lot of that tonight with these two pitchers. Prince Fielder grounded sharply back to the mound. He's a guy who could be in the home run derby along with that man, Carlos Beltran, who's at 19. Ryan Braun with 20 as of today, so he has taken over the lead in the National League. Here's Brennan Bosch, who could really emerge as a home run guy. He's got a beautiful swing on the left side of the plate. Grew up admiring Ted Williams, having Ted Williams posters in his house.
I think about 90% of lefties have a beautiful swing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 98% of lefties grew up idolizing Ted Williams.
That may be true too, but I'm just thinking about when you said a beautiful swing on the left side. Us right-handers, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous of it. It is pretty swing. I try not to give him that much credit, but
I hear you. Chase that pitch into the dirt, strikes out. Molina's gonna have to throw him out to complete it. And there are two down. Let's get back to the studio. Update time and Steve Berthume.
Thanks, David Omar, here with John Kruk, watching Yu Darvish struggle at San Diego, Kruk.
Well, Yu Darvish hasn't been that great.
Anthony Bass, the pitcher, and he lines one down the line.
That's a great, beautiful thing when a pitcher helps himself.
So the Padres have the early lead against Texas, 2-0 in the fourth, back in Detroit.
He's been outstanding in Texas, but he has not been good at all on the road. Talking about Darvish, that one up and in on Peralta sends him scurrying out of the batter's box. And you'd think if a Ranger pitcher is going to have a hard time, it's in that bandbox in Arlington. But on the road, he's been awful.
maybe he really likes the heat there. You know, a lot of people too, they say that the heat affects pitchers, but maybe he likes it. Maybe that's what he prefers.
Peralta, a .268 hitter with 4 home runs. Scoreless here in the second inning. Nomar Garciaparra, Dave O'Brien with you from Comerica Park here in Detroit. Hot shot, deep short on the outfield grass for Call with that cannon of an arm. I mean, he could be 40 feet into left field and still make that play with the arm he has. Great night for baseball, but scoreless after 2. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Join Justin Verlander and take the Fast Relief Challenge. Go to fastreliefchallenge.com for more details. Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain relief of Major League Baseball. Welcome you back to Detroit. Daniel Descalso already in the box here, followed by Furcal and then Schumacher for the St. Louis Cardinals, who won it all last fall as they knocked off the Texas Rangers, who twice, Nomar, twice were a strike away from winning the whole thing. Twice.
Yeah, that's tough to swallow as a player when you know you were that close and just came up short.
You played in Boston, so you know some of that pain.
Yes. Know some of that pain for sure.
And it can linger, but the Rangers, to their credit, said going into spring training they had forgotten about it already and had put it behind them. In there for a called strike on Descalso. Came in hitting .236. He fans. Let's go back to Game 6 and that classic matchup between the Cardinals and the Texas Rangers. And of course, David Freese would be the hero. This is a ball that Cruz probably should have caught. No error charge there. But that was the big blow. Of course, Hamilton responded with that mammoth home run. And then Berkman with the huge hit to win the ball game in extra innings. Little floater down the left field line off the batter for a call, but a foul. What a ball game, back and forth. That was an all-timer.
That was a great game, but yeah, like you said, you're one strike away. I think when you see how your team picks you up, you're like, all right, we got this game. So it's more that other half when you have Josh Hamilton put you ahead, and then those guys come back again.
For call 0 for 1. He is the leading all-star vote getter among National League shortstops. Chopped right out in front of the plate. Porcello with a quick move, throws, and backhanded there by Fielder. Nice play by Prince Fielder to help save his pitcher. And there are 2 fast outs in the third.
Good job by Prince Fielder being ready for that ball, because it's so tough for as a first baseman. You know the pitcher's getting that ball and he's off balance. You don't know how hard he's going to throw that at you, so you have to be on your toes and ready for anything. And because he was ready, he got to the bag early enough. He was anticipating just a throw. You know, like I said, you think, okay, he may be throwing this 90 miles at me, and he throws it off, and he's able to anticipate a bad throw.
In tight on Skip Schumacher, who's grounded to second, 0 for 1. Base is empty here for the Cardinals. Now, of course, Tony La Russa retired after winning the World Series. Mike Matheny is the new manager. He's not going to manage the All-Star team. Tony's going to come out of retirement to manage the squad against the American League. All-Star game in Kansas City this year. Pounding ball to Peralta. And another fast frame for Porcello. Only 32 pitches in the first 3 innings. In this heat, he's managing it very smartly. The ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm continues on ESPN Sunday night at 8 o'clock as the Yankees visit Citi Field to take on the Mets. Then Monday at 7 on ESPN2, you'll see the Yankees and the Indians, that game in the Bronx. On to the 3rd inning. Last half of the 3rd, it's Santiago, Laird, and Austin Jackson up against Jake Westbrook. He's getting his ground balls. Santiago batting .233 with a couple of home runs. No, Marietta, I think a great point to make about Tony La Russa coming out of retirement. Dave Duncan as well, his longtime lieutenant, to manage and coach the National League All-Star squad. Nice scoop here by Freese in close for the out.
Yeah. You know, I think it's great that they're coming out of retirement to be part of the All-Star game. But, I mean, if the All-Star game now means something in the championship series and determines home field advantage for the World Series, I mean, as a player and other teams, wouldn't you have a hard time having a manager who is making decisions, win or lose these games, that has really no vested interest this year?
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that Tony's not going to try to win. You know his character. You know what he's about. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, you know, this affects something. Once again, why I don't like the fact that the All-Star game determines that.
Right.
I don't.
On the other hand, I mean, he's the guy who won it. As Laird hits here, hitting .294 with 2 home runs. He's the guy wearing the ring. He managed that team. Matheny didn't. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate here. Trickler along third, going to be a tough play. Freese lets it go. Will it roll foul? And it is a foul ball.
What a good heads-up play by Freese on this ground ball. I mean, he comes in, he recognizes that's a chopper, that it's going to be a very difficult play, especially you saw him, he was going to bare hand that ball. And when he saw that, he's like, that's going to be a tough play. He let that ball, you can see the spin of that, and it just went foul.
Nice work by Brian Runge, the home plate ump, to race up that line too.
And I'm sure Gerald Laird's a little bit upset with that, going, man, had that just an inch to the right. That's a base hit.
Putters all over America on the green are knowing that pain. Just barely off the cup. 1-2 the count, 1 out, bases empty. Both pitchers keeping it down tonight. Little pop up behind first. This is going to be a tough play. Long run Descalso. It's going to drop in fair. And now he boots it. And racing into second, Gerald Laird. So he got a second life. Got a little bit fortunate there as opposed to the first little trickler. Descalso and racing for it along that line and kicked it.
I know Descalso kicked it. I wonder if they're going to give him a double. The reason being is you can see right here they're going after the ball. Descalso, it falls in and he can't come up with it. But Gerald Laird right out of the box was thinking about possibly going to. I mean, he sees that, he recognized that that's going to fall. Good hustle out of the box. He's watching the ball and then just takes off there, you know, recognizing that it does kick away from him. And that, I think that's why he was, but it all started with him right out of the box and getting there to be able to take advantage of the ball getting away from Descalso.
So it is ruled a single and an error on Descalso. And here's what I would say on that. The first time he went for it, it was off his hand. maybe it's a double just because that's a difficult play to pick up barehanded. But then he kicked it the second time. Yeah. And because he had 2 chances to keep him at first base, maybe that's why it's not a double.
Maybe. I think when I saw that the second time, he like I said, Gerald Laird was hustling out of the box. He was, I think, anticipating the stop. I think the first one he went. I think the second one, the kick wasn't it. I think it was the first one right off his hand is why they gave it to him, because he was hesitating. Once he saw that, he immediately went to second. But good base running.
Jackson loops that one to right field. That's going to drop in and then roll into the corner. That'll bring in a run. Laird in to score. Jackson digging for second. Takes the turn, and he's there with a double. That's certainly a double all the way. And Austin Jackson continues to light it up for the Tigers ever since he came off the DL.
We're going the other way with this pitch. And this is a difficult pitch to stay on, because you saw the movement on that sinker. I mean, that really dropped down, and it's coming in on the right. It started on the outside, but it came in over the plate, but he stayed with it instead of pulling off of that ball and going the opposite way. And I know there was an error to get Gerald Laird to second base, but I think he would have scored on that ball if he'd still been at first, the way that ball went all the way down the right field line.
So the Tigers are in front 1-0 on back-to-back hits. And now the youngster Quentin Berry, who struck out in the first inning. 1 away here in the third, and that's inside. Next up, Miguel Cabrera for Detroit. The Tigers have won 7 of their last 10. Bounding ball, the runner trying to move up. The throw to first gets him, and into third base. Jackson out number 2. Cabrera will have a man at third when he digs in a moment. Right now, back to the studio, Steve Berthiaume.
Thanks, Dave. Here with John Kruk. Krucky, it's hot today. The ball is flying everywhere, notably Yankee Stadium earlier.
An imperative to keep the ball down in the zone. Phil Hughes got that one up to Hayward and gone.
Boy, Jason Hayward hit 2 for the Braves today, and I thought the Yankees were going to win like 25 games in a row.
They seem to be, but the Atlanta Braves had other ideas.
10-5, Krucky, 10-5. Back to David Nomar.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. So back-to-back defeats for the New York Yankees on the heels of their long winning streak. And here's Cabrera with Jackson at third base, and that's a strike. Miguel 0 for 1. He is grounded out to the shortstop. Today is the 9-year anniversary of Cabrera's first major league game. Made his debut June 20, 2003 for the Marlins. He broke in with a bang. Go back to that date. Turned out to be a game-winning home run. How about that, starting your major league career? 20 years old from Venezuela. Marlins would win the World Series over the Yankees that year. Punch toward right, slicing into foul territory. And for more on that, let's bring in Pedro Gomez.
And you know, I asked Miguel about that today. He was unaware that it was the anniversary, but he said he had gone 0 for 4 in that game up to that point. So he looked over to third base coach Ozzie Guillen, expecting fully to be given the bunt sign so that he could just move the runner over, because there were no outs in the bottom of the 11th. They didn't give it to him. He jumped on the first pitch from Al Levine and sent it over that center field wall.
Is that the last time he ever thought about a bunt sign ever again?
I believe so, but I will say this. A great smile came over his face when I was telling him that.
Well, he does have a great one. He certainly does. Well, the Tigers are on the board. Cabrera just struck out, but they lead it 1-0 at the end of 3. Well, that Tiger is certainly roaring these days. They're playing very, very well, these Detroit Tigers. They have a 1-0 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's take the pulse of the National League. Well, the Cubs are certainly low. They've lost 24-33, on a pace to lose about 108 games. The Reds are kind of in the middle. Votto is doing a great job at 484 in the month of June. Of course, he's a former MVP. And the Pirates are running the high pulse right now. They have won 3 in a row. Look at that team ERA, number 5 in the majors. Nomar, they're doing it with pitching.
And it's so good to see. I mean, I really want to see the Pirates coming out here, finally having a good winning season, making a run at the division. I mean, I just think it's great for baseball all around when you see teams like that coming up, and it gives every team just hope year after year.
Matt Holliday here, 1 for 1 with a base hit. I agree with you entirely. Part of it's selfish. I love doing games in PNC Park. Pirates only hitting .230, so they have to do it with pitching, but they are right now 2.5 games behind Cincinnati.
That is a beautiful park. If anybody ever have an opportunity to go watch a game there, it is a beautiful, beautiful place.
Spectacular view.
And we're at another beautiful place. I mean, right here in Detroit, this is another beautiful ballpark. I mean, as a visiting player coming into these types of ballparks, you really enjoyed it. I mean, coming here to Detroit, I remember the history. Don't get me wrong, that's great to play in old Tiger Stadium with that history, but they did a really good job in this place.
A little high. The statues out there are works of art unto themselves. Look at Ty Cobb there sliding with the dirt kicking up. Greenberg and Kaline and Cochran and even one of Bernie Harwell out there. Great broadcaster. It is a terrific place to watch a game. Sunken in down low. These sculptures are tremendous of Tiger greats. 3-2 pitch, popped him up sky high on the right side of the diamond. And Santiago will make the grab for the out. Back to the studio. Here's Steve Berthiaume.
Thanks, Dave. Here with John Kruk watching Mike Aviles, or as he's known on the Twitter, the Mike Aviles Kruk.
And the went very the yard. I'm losing it.
Red Sox lead the Marlins 3-2. Aren't we all, Krucky? Aren't we all?
Aviles, I think it was his first home run since the 3rd week of May, so it's been a little while. Here's Carlos Beltran. He's not waiting around to hit any dingers. 19 of them. Carlos talking about what he wants to accomplish here in his career. He's never won a World Series. 14 seasons. He's 35 years old now. He said one reason I ended up in St. Louis was it was a good chance for me to be able to win a championship. He was as close as you can get, of course. Game 7 in the 06 National League Championship Series. That ended with one of the most dangerous weapons at the plate, one Carlos Beltran. Remember, he struck out looking. A killer 3rd strike, curveball from Adam Wainwright, and he socks a base hit. Boy, is he hot. 2 for 2 tonight.
And he gets on, and people get on him so much. He gets criticized for taking that pitch from Adam Wainwright.
Bases loaded.
Bases loaded. But sometimes we need to remember that Adam Wainwright has one of the best curveballs in all of baseball. And I think they were expecting this to happen because you see him when he swings the bat. Good things happen. Get a nice base hit right there. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, doing a good job taking that outside pitch and pulling that on the ground. But, you know, that was a nasty breaking ball that he took for a 3rd strike. It really was. It was a great pitch.
Yep. Here's Alan Craig 0 for 1. He's grounded back to the pitcher, which Porcello would certainly take again to start a double play. That's in for a strike.
Porcello doing a good job getting ahead of the hitters. He is still continuing strikes, even though this Cardinal team has been aggressive on that first pitch. He's mixing up his pitches for that first strike. We saw that with a breaking ball. Usually he's coming back now with that sinker to try to get that ground ball.
Here's Cabrera behind the bag, slings the second one on to first. Not this time. No double play. They got one turned in the 2nd inning when Freese was batting. This was a slow hopper to 3rd base, not really a double play ball.
Not a double play ball, but he gets the ground ball. And a good effort by Santiago, you know, making sure he got that first out, but Craig hustling down the line.
So Craig becomes the runner at first. 2 down for Molina. Yadier is 1 for 1 with a single. Look at that average, 327. Hitting for power. Punches it to the right side. Santiago there. A lot of first pitches out of Porcello, and it's paying off. 9 outs on ground balls. Prince Fielder is due up when we come back. 10 homers, 44 RBIs for the big Prince of the Detroit Tigers. Bayer Advanced Aspirin wants viewers to join Justin Verlander and take the Fast Relief Challenge. Go to fastreliefchallenge.com for more details. Bayer is the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. Nomar Garciaparra, Dave O'Brien with you on Wednesday Night Baseball. A pleasure to be with you. The shift on here for Prince Fielder, who is 0 for 1. He is grounded sharply back to Westbrook, the pitcher. It's one of 15 ground ball outs already in this game of the 21 total for the two teams combined.
We talked about right at the beginning of this game that both these pitchers have really good movement on their fastball, sinking fastball. And because of that, they can get a lot of ground balls. And if they're staying down in the zone, that's the key for them.
Fouled away off to the right. Fielder, a hot hitter, hitting .358 in his last 33 games. Some here in Detroit, it appears, would like to see him hit more home runs. Prince, like a lot of home run hitters, those numbers go up as the temperature goes up. Knocked down on a short hop by Adams at first, but he'll make the play. One man gone. Back to the studio, Steve Berthiaume and John Kruk.
Thanks, Dave. Krucky, in his last 38 1/3 innings, the Phillies' Joe Blanton has given up 15 home runs.
That's not very good.
No, that's you don't have to have the whole sabermetric card to figure that out. Michael Kadire and Willeen Rosario have homered for the Rockies. They're tied up in Philadelphia. 27 home runs hit today so far.
Wow. So it is hot just about everywhere, and the ball is carrying. Not yet here in Detroit tonight, where it's gone all the way down to 92 after a scorcher of an afternoon. Delman Young here, 0 for 1.
All the way down. 92.
Free falling. 0 and 2.
Well, it is a beautiful night.
Westbrook, pretty fast worker. That one golfed into left field. Here comes Holiday, and he'll make the grab for the second out. The NBA Finals continue on ABC tomorrow night with Game 5. Coverage tipping at 8:30 with Kia NBA Countdown. Then at 9 Eastern, it is a must-win for Kevin Durant and the Thunder. They take on the Heat, led by LeBron James, seeking his first ever NBA title. Game 5 of the NBA Finals tomorrow on ABC. Also available on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. 2 down. Here's Brennan Bosch. He whiffed in the second inning and takes strike 1. 94 on the gun from Westbrook.
I tell you, as a infielder, outfielder, somebody playing behind Westbrook, you love just his pace. He's throwing strikes. You know you got to be on your toes, but he works so fast.
Liner and a base hit into left. Bosch with that sweet swing going to the opposite field for a 2-out single. That's the 4th hit of the night off Westbrook.
This was a nice job by Bosch staying with this pitch with that sinker ball. It's going away from the left-hander. You see that, man, that started off almost on the inner half and broke all the way to the outer half of the plate. And Bosch staying in there long enough, staying with it with both his body and his hands, and keeping that barrel through the hitting zone and going the other way to get a nice base hit.
Sends up Johnny Peralta, 0 for 1 with a ground at a short. Of course, it was Joel Peralta who was ejected for having a substance, pine tar, in his glove last night in the Tampa Bay game. Did you ever face a pitcher, Nomar, in your major league career where you knew for sure he was doctoring the baseball when he pitched to you?
I didn't know for sure, but they raised some questions by the way the ball moved when it was coming at me.
Did it happen more than once?
Yeah, it happened a couple of times, but I never insinuated. I would ask, I'd kind of look at the umpire. I'm like, huh, that was an interesting movement on that pitch,
odd,
you know.
yeah.
But they're like, oh, he's got a lot of movement today. Okay, we'll go with that one then. You can say that, but I think he understood what I was insinuating. But he was, and then there was a time I got on first base and I saw a substance on the guy's hat, and I just asked an umpire, "Does that look funny to you?" And I said it loud enough so the first baseman could hear it too,
Yep.
you know, looking at that, because the way the sun was actually, it was a day game, you can kind of see.
So it kind of glinting a little bit?
Yeah, and you know what? The next inning, the guy didn't have that same hat on. We can notice that. And so, I don't know. I'm not accusing, but There were definitely had some question marks in my head when you see some of the ball, some of the way the movement came in, you know, through that strike zone.
Just unnatural.
Yeah.
There's foul back out of play by Peralta. Ramon Santiago would be next. 1-0 Detroit.
No, I didn't. Now it didn't happen to me an awful lot. I didn't assume, oh, every time I was out there somebody saw. That's not what I'm saying. I don't believe in that. But you saw
there's
occasion.
Sure, I would bet that's true. And you saw enough pitchers, different kind of pitches in your major league career that you knew when something was unusual, maybe aided. High fly, jack to dead center. Schumacher racing, makes the play. Nice over-the-shoulder catch by Skip Schumacher. Just recently off the DL, wearing those shades, looking cool, making that grab. Long drive, but caught. Still 1-0 Detroit. Hey, Miguel Cabrera, Brandon Phillips, David Price, and Justin Verlander are among more than 20 Major League stars who visited the MLB Fan Cave already. Watch MLB Fan Cave player videos. Stay up to date on the latest cave happenings by visiting MLBFanCave.com and follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. Nomar and our sometimes Wednesday night partner Mark Mulder have also made the trek to the Fan Cave. Undoubtedly Mark's there in Arizona tonight, sitting back with an iced tea and chasing his little rugrats around.
I'm sure it is iced tea.
We'll have him next week with us in Texas for the Tigers against those Texas Rangers on Wednesday Night Baseball. Inside on Freese, who got doubled up 6-4-3 in the second inning. Socked into center for a sharp base hit. So Freese right on that one to start the fifth inning. And for more on David Freese, let's go to Pedro. And Pedro, he was a very busy man after the World Series.
Extremely, Dave. And that's one of the questions I asked him. What was it like this winter? He said, without question, the requests were the #1 thing on his list. I mean, everybody wanted a piece of him. On the positive side, he said that, you know what, you get to be MVP of the World Series in your hometown. You find that you don't really pay for a lot of things. Everywhere he went, nowhere would they accept his money.
High chop. It's going to squeak through for a base hit on the right side. Freese taking off for third. He'll reach a single from Matt Adams, and they're on the corners. Well, his offseason was quite busy. 3 days after the World Series, that trophy hoisting high, he was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno in St. Louis. He joined Chris Carpenter for the puck drop at a Blues game with Tony La Russa. The following weekend, honored during a Missouri-Texas football game, he got a big standing O. And then he joined our own Aaron Andrews as a presenter at the Country Music Awards in November. What a run he had. Just for being the MVP of the LCS and the World Series, Omar. Fly it into left field, and that'll be out #1. Here comes the run. Freese trying to score, and he does. No play at second. So David Freese comes in on a sacrifice by Descalso. And this one is tied up for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, one good job by Descalso. Just trying to get the ball in the air to try to get the sacrifice fly, staying with that ball, going the other way. You have Freese over there. Freese tagging up. But the other great thing on this ball was Matt Adams over there at first base. He also tagged up and was very aggressive to get in scoring position. And great base running by Matt Adams, because you know the defense did everything right. You know, Barry threw the ball in, hit his cutoff man, but Adams just got them, you know, maybe a little lackadaisical out there. I don't think he just was really aggressive, recognized it, saw the throw, and got to second base.
And credit Descalso, he's the man who booted that ball into 2 bases, in which the Tigers scored their first run moments later. A lunging swing flicked into left, but Barry is there for the catch. So Furcal is retired. He's 0 for 3. He's really fighting it right now. 2 for his last 39. So 2 men out, and Skip Schumacher will dig in, still with a chance for the Cardinals to grab the lead, a man in scoring position in the 5th. Schumacher is grounded to second and grounded to short. Skip's had a tough run of it this season. He started the season on the DL with a strained right oblique. Just came off the DL yesterday after a hamstring injury. Cut on and missed, and it's 1-1.
Still very good movement by Porcello on his fastball. He's keeping it still down in the zone.
Backs him off 2-1. Porcello, a first-round draft pick by Detroit in 2007. Out of high school, Seton Hall Prep in New Jersey. Senior year, he was 10-0, and he tossed a perfect game, earning him USA Today, Gatorade, and Louisville Slugger High School Player of the Year honors. So he got them all. Just like Nomar did.
No, I didn't get any of those awards. No one could see me. I only weigh like $150. So I wasn't recognized. Couldn't believe I was even playing.
Raked into left field, a base hit. Adams hitting third. They're going to wave him in. Barry up and gunning. Going to be a play at the plate. The throw on target. He's tagged out. Great chuck by Barry in left field. Adams had a little bit of a stumble around third, although Barry had a terrific throw to nail him. So that lead run does not come in to score. Coming stumbling and bubbling, may have cost him a step. Oh, the sun is slowly going down here in the Midwest. A foul ball by Ramon Santiago to start the bottom half of the 5th inning. We're tied up 1-1. The Cardinals could not get across the go-ahead run as Matt Adams was nailed at the plate. He had a very interesting base running inning, and that's going to get him. Let's see, now they're going to bring him back. Hold on one second.
They're going to see if it hit him or what they're asking. I'm wondering if they're going to ask to see if he attempted the bunt.
Yeah, that's exactly what Brian Runge just said, and he told Jim Leland he was trying to bunt, and Leland's going to come out and argue this. So it will not be a hit batsman, and Santiago will be brought back to continue the at bat here. Let's take a look.
So he's squaring around, see if he's pulling it back. Oh yeah, I thought he pulled that back. He was just trying to get out of the way.
Yep.
He's there, he's pulling it back right here, getting out of the way. Definitely hits him in the leg. I don't know what. Yeah, that was very clear that he was pulling that bat back. That should have been a hit by pitch, and he should have gotten first base.
Absolutely.
I wonder if Runge even asked McClellan on that, said for help to see if he pulled it back, because the third base umpire would have a good view to see if he would pull that back or not, or unless he just made that call himself. He may have, and we may not have seen him ask. But
well, they didn't huddle.
No,
they never got together. Ground ball to first baseman Adams, and he makes the stop for the out.
I mean, that's a big play right there. I mean, that's you're in a tie ball game. Your leadoff hitter getting on base to lead off the inning. Now you can do some different things, and instead it's one out. Changes the dynamic of this inning.
Well, I guarantee you Jim Leland is not happy with that at all. And somebody has probably told him several times by now that they missed that call. Home plate umpire Brian Runge, and cost him a base runner.
Yeah, sometimes I'm wondering if is it better to let him know then, or do we, hey, he missed it, or we tell Jim Leland maybe after the half inning is over.
Gerald Laird here, 1 for 1, a base hit, and then was moved to second on an error by Descalso, the second baseman, who ran it down along the right field line, and then both touched it with a hand and booted it, and was hit with an error on the play and eventually came in to score. We're tied 1-1 in the 5th. Jake Westbrook on the hill tonight for St. Louis. 34-year-old veteran out of Athens, Georgia. He tossed 6 no-hitters over his last 2 seasons at Madison County High School in Georgia. And it looked like he was headed to the University of Georgia on scholarship when Colorado drafted him in the first round in '96. He misses their ball 4. That puts Laird on. Let's get it back to the studio and update. Here's Steve Berthume.
Dave, so far for Steven Strasburg, 4 innings against Tampa Bay, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He has walked 2 and struck out 6. It's 70 pitches so far through 4. Giving up a home run to Jose Molina, the little RBI hit there. And it's 3-2 right now. Tampa Bay trails at DC.
Steve, thank you very much. At what point, throw over to first base, back in Laird, does Davey Johnson and the Nationals stop being as concerned as they are with pitch count on Strasburg, realizing he's had Tommy John, he's come back, made a full recovery from that, but they're holding his pitch limit fairly low, and this is a strikeout pitcher, and by virtue of that, he's going to throw more pitches than a ground ball guy.
Yeah, at what point is he going to start building up to that higher pitch count is a great question. And I'm still in the back of my mind going, okay, are they really going to, and they keep saying they are, they're going to shut him down after so many innings that he has. And here they are in the thick of things, in the thick of the race here.
Yeah, they're holding fast to 160 innings. Looper toward right, might be trouble, slicing to the corner, but foul.
And my other question along that, along those lines is, he's having an all-star year. Can definitely get some major consideration for the all-star game.
No doubt.
So if he does, we're going to have to. If I'm a team, I'm going, well, if I have this limit on him, I don't want him to waste any of those bullets at an all-star game. Even though once again it goes back, well, it means something. You can factor into that, and that's fine. But at the same time, do I really want him going out there if I'm having this limit to say, well, there's an inning that we don't get to use to try to get to the playoffs?
Sure, you want him to rest too.
Right. And an all-star is a great experience. You don't want to take that away from him, and it's well-deserved as well.
Austin Jackson, perfect night going, a single and a double. He drove in the run in the 3rd inning. We're tied 1-1. Laird at first base with a man out. Fly to center field. Schumacher has plenty of room behind him. It's a big ballpark. And here goes Laird heading into second base. The throw off line, and he slides in. Very alert base running by Gerald Laird. It is a big, big park. 420 to center field. He took advantage of that.
You just said this is a big park, and Gerald Laird doing an excellent job being aggressive. He scored the only run for the Tigers in this game, and he got to second by being aggressive as well, right out of the box. A good base running, and once again recognizing that Schumacher is going back, kind of backpedaling on that ball, wasn't able to get behind that because the way that ball carried, and he took advantage of that. Now he's in scoring position.
That's a catcher, by the way, running first to second on that. Here's Quinton Berry. He has struck out and grounded to the pitcher, and he'll look at a strike. Berry made his major league debut on the 23rd of May.
This is something that Detroit doesn't need. Wonder if he hurt his hamstring.
Oh, here comes the trainer.
Yeah.
And Laird immediately walking away from second base and looks for all the world like a man who is done for the night. Avila, their all-star catcher, is on rehab right now. He's coming back. He's on a rehab assignment right now, and that's going to do it for Laird. He is out of the ball game. They have to bring a runner on for him right here.
And yeah, it looks like he got a hamstring there, and he made an excellent job getting to second base on this play when he's tagging, and see him running hard, and then he grabs it right when he gets to second base.
Brian Holiday, who is also a catcher, will come in and run for him, and he'll stay in the game to catch the rest of it. But yeah, immediately he was tugging at that hamstring. So for the Tigers, they have lost their catcher, Gerald Laird. This is the list of Tigers on the DL, including an outstanding young catcher who was an all-star last year, and of course Victor Martinez, who's out for the season. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. Miguel Cabrera on deck for Detroit, tied 1-1, but the Tigers with that go-ahead man at second base. Roller foul. Let's toss it down to Pedro.
You know, the timing could not have been better for the Tigers. Alex Avila scheduled to finish his last rehab game today. The Tigers will make a roster move later tonight. Avila will be activated, so could have been worse in terms of timing. Avila, the all-star catcher, will be behind the plate for tomorrow afternoon's game.
All right, so fortunate there. Avila really blossoming a season ago for Detroit. Ground ball to the shortstop, backing up for call, got the good hop, slings it over and got it. And that retires the side. One man is left. Still tied up 1-1 on a steamy night in Motown. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Pep Boys. Pep Boys does everything for less. Call 1-800-PEP-BOYS. Some great managers on both sides of the aisle in this rivalry between St. Louis and Detroit, this interleague rivalry. Jim Leyland, of course, the Tigers manager since '06. Sparky Anderson, the great Sparky, winning the 1984 World Series in old Tiger Stadium. Did you get a chance to play there?
I did. Yes.
What a treat, huh? There's Matt Holliday. Goes after the first pitch and pops it down the right field line. Lengthy romp here for Bosch. Still coming, can't get it.
Oh.
He had a long way to go.
It was a long way to go. And it's tough for a right fielder as they're going after a ball like that in foul territory, because you see the way it jets out. So you know that there are walls there, and you're keeping your eye on the ball, and you know it's going to kind of be in that corner somewhere. So it's really tough to judge how close you are to that wall without taking your eye off the ball. So very tough play.
Wrapped and fair past the diving Cabrera down the left field line. That's going to go all the way to the 345 mark. And Holliday is into second base with a stand-up double. A frozen rope to lead off the 6th inning. Holliday ready to score on a base hit. Back to the studio. Here's Steve Berthiaume.
Dave, the Miami Marlins and Ozzie Guillen intentionally walked David Ortiz to load the bases and get to Cody Ross, and he lines one off the wall out there.
A good move to walk David Ortiz, the best hitter in the lineup right now. Cody Ross making pay for it.
So Lomo did the Spider-Man routine up the wall, didn't work, but Lomo is homered again, having a big series at Fenway Park. The Marlins trail Boston 6-4.
Cody Ross, a Marlin for about 5.5 seasons. Ozzie maybe should have known. Here's Carlos Beltran, 2 for 2 tonight with 2 singles. Nobody out. Holliday at second base. Here comes Brian Holliday, who just came in to do the catching after Laird had to exit with an injury.
Just seeing that highlight when I see the Red Sox, what impressed me was David Ortiz scoring from first on a ball to left field.
Yep.
That was impressive.
Big Papi is a lot lighter this season. He's moving very well. He's headed to the All-Star game. The way he's been playing, he's had a terrific first half. And so has this man, Carlos Beltran, looking down the barrel of RBI number 49. He's first on the Cardinals in game-winning RBIs with 8. Tonight running his hitting streak to 12 consecutive games. The 2-0 from Porcello is high.
We saw Brian Holliday come out and talk to Porcello. One, there's a man on second base. The catcher just comes in the game. He wants to make sure they have the signs right with the man on second base. And also probably to talk about, let's be very careful with Beltran. We got a right-hander at the, coming up on deck. Don't have to pitch to him.
And did not.
And let's try to get that ground ball with that sinker you have working today to try to get us out of this.
So 2 on. MLB.TV is baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Going to be a mound visit here. And a big conference for the Detroit Tigers. All tied up 1-1, and with the go-ahead man down at second base, they want to talk about this. So the batter will be Alan Craig, who is grounded to the pitcher and also hit into a 5-4 force play. He's another Cardinal who had an outstanding World Series. Like David Freese, hit 3 home runs World Series.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if Matheny might think about sack bunting here. He's not afraid to sack bunt guys who aren't pitchers. I mean, he has 14. There are 14 sack bunts of non-pitchers, and here's an opportunity to move guys over.
Line into left instead for a base hit. Holiday up into third. They apply the brakes on him, and the bases are loaded. So Craig slams a single, and they're all filled up for Yadier Molina.
Or you just get a base hit to left field.
That's the other option. It was the other sign. 6 of the last 8 Cardinals have reached base against Porcello, who came in shaky anyway, with an ERA of 5.18. And he has not lasted longer than 6 innings in a start since the 6th of May. So this is an ongoing issue for the 23-year-old. And now the Wolf is at the door here in the 6th. Slicer foul by Molina for strike 1.
Ooh, Molina would like to have that pitch back. That's the pitch you're looking for. You got a guy, you're out there with bases loaded. You're looking for that ball that kind of catches the middle part of the plate. You can see that sinker, but you're trying to stay inside. He does a good job. See how he kept his hands close to his body on that pitch. You want to stay inside and try to drive it the other way. Very difficult to do, but
ground ball right to the shortstop. Peralta to Santiago, 1 on to first. They turn 2. They do concede the run as Holiday is in to make it 2-1 St. Louis. But Porcello will take that any day of the week to get that 6-4-3, 2 down and a man at third.
This is why I was telling you how difficult it was. Keep your hands inside. You get that sinker. It'll have you roll over that and hit into that double play. Good job up the middle by Peralta, Santiago to turn that double play.
So 2 men out for David Freese, who has hit into a double play in single. And he rakes that one to right. Coming on and making the play is Bosch. What a fine play. He had to get off immediately at the crack of the bat, and he did. Sprawling ahead to make the grab, and that saves another run. Freese hit it right on the screws for the 2nd time tonight. The Cardinals do get 1 run. Well, the Tigers are hoping that's your equalizer tonight for them. St. Louis has just taken the lead. The most career home runs, active players under 30. The Tigers have 2 of them, hitting back-to-back. Cabrera and Fielder, David Wright and Ryan Braun also on that list. And Cabrera swings at the first pitch, fouls it away. He's grounded to short and struck out tonight. Fielder is after him. He's 0 for 2. And Delman Young, who is also 0 for 2. So Westbrook has done a good job making sure the heart of the order has done nothing against him. Although that doesn't last forever against hitters like this. Cabrera is the reigning American League batting champion at .344 last year.
And if you're Westbrook, if you can keep that pitch, see you've thrown 2 pitches in on the hands of Cabrera, you got to like your chances.
The 0-2. It's sharply, but a big hop to for call. Will gun to get him. Back to the studio, an update. Here's Steve Berthiaume.
Crocky, Blue Jays and Brewers. Ryan Braun was 3 for 4 today and saw only 7 pitches.
Well, he saw the ones he liked 3 times, and he delivered. That's why he's one of the best in the game.
Ryan Braun, his 20th home run, now hitting .321 on the year. Brewers beat Toronto.
Ryan Braun has taken over the lead in home runs in the National League, 1 more than anybody else.
7 pitches, huh? Huh. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. Pays off, I'm telling you. Love it.
They've had 9 ground ball outs tonight, courtesy of Jake Westbrook. So everything is down, and even in the strike zone like that, fielder has grounded to the pitcher and grounded to first. So Westbrook has been sharp, allowed 1 run on 4 hits. Fly ball into right field, backing up Craig. He has room though, and there to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down. The ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm continues. ESPN Sunday night at 8. The Yankees visiting Citi Field to battle the Mets. Then Monday at 7 on ESPN2, you'll see the Yankees again as they take on the Indians in the Bronx. That's the ALNL Showdown. Sunday night baseball presented by Taco Bell. And then Indians-Yankees Monday night presented by USAA.
How about CC Sabathia versus R.A. Dickey on Sunday?
Not too shabby.
No.
CC coming off a terrific performance, but Dickey's been a talk of the National League.
I mean, just an amazing performance. I mean, you make a good argument him maybe starting the All-Star game if he continues this.
For sure. Absolutely, he's earned it. Back-to-back one-hitters.
Back-to-back one at 11-1.
It'd be my pick right now. Here's Delman Young, 0 for 2. He's got the count to 2-0 here. He has not drawn a walk in 101 plate appearances. And he won't here either. He refuses to take ball 4. Charging in Craig, long run, and will he get there? The glove came off. The ball rolls free. Play at second. A tag not in time.
Oh no.
Craig may be hurt. We'll see. Shaken up anyway. He hit the deck pretty hard trying to make a spectacular play. And he's going to hang in there, walk back to his defensive position. Almost made a great catch.
Here's that ball. As a hitter, you love that. You know you miss hit comes off the end of your bat, but you can see him charging in. Craig took a few steps back at first, thought it was hit deep, and he tried to get his glove underneath that ball. Watch his glove get caught. Oh man. He was trying to get that glove underneath, thinking he can make a basket catch, and it gets caught underneath him.
Well, there was panic in that step because, as you mentioned, Omar, he started back on it.
Right. Started back and went right off his bat. It's a tough read off the bat going the opposite way from the hitter.
Westbrook,
for an outfielder to judge to see if it was going to be in or not.
I think Westbrook was disappointed the catch wasn't made. Obviously, Delman Young at second. He has a double. Brennan Bosch has singled and struck out tonight. 2 down. The Tigers with a man in scoring position, trying to tie it up again.
Hopefully he's okay. I mean, we saw Jason Worth break his wrist on a play just like that when his glove got caught. So hopefully you can see Craig checking out his wrist. Hopefully he's okay.
By the way, a report on Gerald Laird. He had to leave the game with a cramp in his left hamstring. That's what they're calling it. He's day to day.
I hope it's just a cramp. That's a good sign if it is just a cramp.
LeBron James went through the same thing on the hamstring, but cramped up seriously in the NBA final. 26 points, 12 assists nonetheless. And right back at Westbrook, he makes the catch. He held up the glove, and look what I found. So the Tigers just 1 for 8 with men in scoring position tonight. Craig could not make the catch, but Westbrook does on a line drive back up the middle. On to the 7th already. 2-1 St. Louis. Nomar Garciaparra, Dave O'Brien alongside here from Comerica Park in Detroit. That one tap foul by Matt Adams. Nomar was all over me during the commercial break, claiming that I was comparing the athletic skills of Gerald Laird to those of LeBron James.
I never, ever said that. I just said they had similar ailments in back-to-back nights. Trying to draw a little line there.
Well, I was just thinking that Gerald Laird might be watching and go, man, thanks.
Yeah.
He goes, I can see it. I'm glad somebody else finally has too.
See, people say that all the time.
Yeah.
There's LeBron and there's me. Gerald Laird, we hope he's doing all right, cramping up there in the hamstring. Same with LeBron. Adams is 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout tonight. Descalso on deck, and then Rafael Furcal for the Cardinals, who lead it 2-1. Breaking ball, that one knocked down the line but foul. So Porcello now at 70 pitches. His pitch count in excellent shape. He's gotten a ton of ground balls. So is his opponent Jake Westbrook. On a night we thought the ball might fly here in Detroit, it really hasn't. 1-2.
It hasn't really today because the pitchers have done such a good job keeping that ball down in the zone, utilizing their movement, getting a lot of ground balls, and we expected a guy like Prince Fielder maybe going deep today.
Hammered right at Santiago. And Adams is now 1 for 3, 1 away. Back to the studio. Update time. Here's Steve Berthiaume and John Kruk.
Here with John Kruk. Krucky, the ball was flying at Chase Field, Arizona. Justin Upton.
Well, that didn't need any help whatsoever. Justin Upton got that one off the barrel and squared one up.
Everyone in the game homered, and the Diamondbacks beat Seattle 14-10.
Wow.
Some scoring in that one.
Everyone in the game homer.
I think Steve was being a little sarcastic.
But then again, I was looking at the score.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty darn close. Descalso has struck out and also driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. As the Cardinals lead it by 1, they have out-hit Detroit 9-5. Big crowd here tonight at Comerica. Again, the Tigers are drawing well. Up the middle on a liner, one hop to Peralta. Got him by half a step at first, 2 down. 38,871 on hand. Let's get it back down to Pedro Gomez.
Well, Alan Craig, who lost his glove trying to make that catch, went down into the tunnel with a bat and a trainer, presumably to swing to see how his wrist felt. I asked Scott Schumacher just from a distance. I put my thumb up like to ask, is he okay? And Schumacher put his hand sideways and the thumb sideways to say, just average right now. But Craig just walked back into the dugout, so maybe we will see him go back out.
Okay, Pedro, thank you very much. And there he is. Craig, who was instrumental in the World Series victory for St. Louis last fall. Shaken up on a play. We'll see if he hangs in there. Here's Rafael Furcal. He's 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and lined to left.
I mean, with Craig, I mean, he started the season on the DL. He had knee surgery. And now that he's back, and then you're going as somebody battling back from the knee surgery and going, all right, now I'm feeling healthy, back playing. You didn't want to see another injury. We sure hope he's okay. I mean, right there, he looks okay. Like I said, I'm sure it's one of those that with the adrenaline right now, it doesn't feel bad. You're really wondering what it's going to be like the next day.
2-2.
Good pitch by Porcello. Started that ball, that sinker on the inside part. You can see Furcal kind of flinch back, and it came back over the plate and just missed that inside corner.
Nobody on, 2 men out in the 7th. 3-2. We haven't said that many times at all tonight, have we? Precious few 3-ball counts.
Now both these pitchers have done an excellent job pounding that strike zone.
Off the glove of Santiago, and deflects into center field on what will be a base hit for Rafael Furcal. Just his 3rd hit in his last 40 at bats. But he's on here in the 7th.
Well, when you're not feeling too comfortable with the plate, this is what you need. This is when things are going really bad, he comes up with that play. I mean, that was a tremendous effort by Santiago and it just off his glove. As infielders, you're going, I should have made that play. That's what you think. I mean, that's a tough play. Obviously, base hit. But Furcal's loving the fact that he got a base hit and swung the bat really well on that at bat.
He could still run. He has stolen 9 bases in 12 tries. So Skip Schumacher, the batter, 1 for 3. Fouls one away for strike 1. The 0-1 from Porcello, a miss down and away to even accounted 1-1. Porcello breaking in 2009. He won 14 games, so pitched very well as a rookie. Then took a step backward his second year. He went 10-12. ZRA jumped by a run. They sent him back to the minors for a time. He was a 14-game winner again in 2011 for Jim Leyland. Now 23 years old, from Morristown, New Jersey.
Let's see if Furcal might be running on this one.
Fought off foul, 1-2.
Furcal kind of bluffed as if he was going there. When you have base stealers on base, like a Furcal, it's tough for them to just stay in one position to an at bat. I mean, they're always thinking about trying to get that base.
One-two on the way. Just got a piece of it. Deflected off the catcher, Holiday.
Porcello doing a good job to left-handed batters. He's staying away with the sinker and coming in with that breaking ball, and it looks like somebody else wants to join in the fun and play. You know, a few of them out there.
Somewhat distracting, I would think, for the hitter. Now just about dusk here in Detroit. And a mini invasion at the moment. 1-2 the count on Schumacher. Popped up. The shortstop there, Peralta. And makes the grab for out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Fun at the old ballpark, and it's a tight one. 2-1 St. Louis to the bottom of the 7th.
Red Sox and Marlins. Big Papi. Oh, he hit it wicked far, Dave O'Brien. Wicked far. Grand slam. 12-4. The Red Sox lead the Marlins, and it's only the 5th inning.
Wow. Have yourself a year, Big Papi. David Ortiz launching another one. Home runs on consecutive nights for the big fella. We have not seen anything quite like that tonight. It's been a pitcher's duel from the get-go. And Jake Westbrook is winning it right now. He has a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Gets the bottom of the order. 7, 8, 9 for the Tigers. Johnny Peralta 0 for 2. Then Santiago, and then Brian Holiday, the catcher, who had to come in for Gerald Laird when he suffered an injury. Oh, foul out of play to the right for a strike. And it's 0-2 on Peralta. Sun has not set yet here in the Midwest, but it's thinking about it.
Sure is a gorgeous night, though. Not too much wind. It's just nice and warm.
No, you like it warmer, don't you? Yes. 91 degrees. All hitters do.
Yes.
Fly ball to center field, but it hangs up high, just not deep enough. And there's Schumacher for the grab and the first out. Time now for a look at our DirecTV game track. Austin Jackson with an RBI double in the 3rd inning, dropped it along that right field line to bring in a run. Descalso with a sacrifice able to tie up the ball game. And then the St. Louis Cardinals on that double play, Yadier Molina hit into it, would score Holiday, and they would take the lead, and that's where we are. 2-1 Cardinals in the 7th. Here's Santiago taking a pitch for a ball. He has grounded out twice. You're right. You don't often say when it's 91 degrees at 9 p.m., which is the case. Oh, what a beautiful night. But it is.
It is. It doesn't feel like it's, you hear 91, but it doesn't feel 91 right now. It doesn't feel super hot right now.
Of course, we have the air conditioning on 52 here in the booth. So we're fine. Bounding ball right to the first baseman. Adams down to get it. 2 up and 2 down. Boy, Westbrook has been dealing. This is his game, and he is executing it perfectly.
He's keeping that ball down in the zone. He's allowing his sinker to do its job. You can see what he's done in 6 1/3, which is 5 hits. Look at 1 base on balls. 1 base on balls for both pitchers. And you can see the strikeout column, not huge. They're just getting their pitcher, just getting the hitters to hit the ball on the ground and getting them out. And if they get in trouble, they get that ground ball, get the double play.
Nobody on base, 2 down for Brian Holiday. This is his first at bat tonight. Westbrook is out of Athens, Georgia. His father actually played 2 sports at the University of Georgia, baseball and basketball. And Westbrook himself is a crazy supporter of the Bulldogs. Great college town. Swung on a miss for strike 3. Another brisk inning for Westbrook. He's retired 8 of the last 9. So around and around we go. The pitching is dominated tonight. We go to the 8th. 2-1 St. Louis. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Lincoln. Trade up to luxury during the Lincoln Exchange sales event. Well, the entertainment good on the field, and the eating's good all around Comerica Park. Get your hot dogs and enjoy a fine pitcher's duel. 2-1 as we go to the 8th inning here on a Wednesday night, part of our ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm. Well, the Tigers blink first here. They're down by a run, and they're going to lift Rick Porcello after 7. He gave up 10 hits, 2 runs. He's on the hook for the loss right now. Brian Villarreal will come out of their bullpen, the right-hander from Venezuela.
He's got a very power arm. He throws from the mid to upper 90s and has a nice sharp short break slider.
Challenging Matt Holliday first, who cuts right through that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, if I'm a hitter, that's what I'm looking for. He likes his fastball because you know you're going to get it. He's not afraid to get ahead with that fastball and then show that sharp breaking ball.
He's had some issue with ball 4. Holliday has singled and doubled. He's also popped to second. Late again, 96.
Yeah, I mean, he's already fanned 29 batters in just 19 innings. So he's, I guess, the definition of a power pitcher.
He's getting the heart of the order here in the 8th inning. Holliday, Beltran, and Craig. Or I should say now Craig's maybe questionable at this point. Were you a little surprised that Porcello came out of the ballgame only 86 pitches?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I mean, but he hasn't gone. He's only thrown 100 pitches or fewer in 10 of his 13 starts. And I'm wondering if Leland was going, you know, here's the lineup. They're coming in the 4th time they're facing Porcello. Maybe they might figure him out, and this is a close ball game. You know, they had the day off on Monday, so they might have some guys in the bullpen that are fresh that can come in and pitch because of that day off. So he's worried about these hitters maybe getting an advantage after seeing Porcello 3 times already.
You also get the feeling they want to build something for Porcello, who had not gone longer than 6 innings since May 6th, not once until tonight when he went 7. Little flare into right. Here comes Bosch near the line. Time to get there for the catch. 1 man out. Another update coming your way. Here's Steve Berthiaume back in the studio. Steve.
Dave, thanks very much. Here with John Kruk. Krucky, interesting call here by Davey Johnson. They send Steven Strasburg back out there to start the 7th inning tonight at 99 pitches.
And I think he fared pretty well in this inning.
It worked out. He did. He finished with 10 strikeouts for the game, now through 7 at 111. But he started that 7th inning at 99. Interesting.
Well, that doesn't happen all the time. You're right, Steve. Here is Carlos Beltran, who swings and fouls one back for a strike.
We mentioned that. You're like, when are they going to let him go longer? Like, apparently today was a day you didn't get the memo that I guess today that they're willing to go over that 100-pitch mark and see if he can slowly build up, which is great.
It's a great idea. They're starting to stretch him out a little bit. He's thrown 108 pitches. Certainly the ultimate power guy, along with Verlander. He's going to take one in each league. Carlos tonight has singled twice. He's also taken ball 4. There's Verlander, who got the win last night over St. Louis. Villarreal fires, and it's pop foul back out of play. That one touching 97 on the gun. So this kid can bring it. Now 24 years old. Made his major league debut for the Tigers last year in 16 appearances. Craig has come out to the on-deck area earlier tonight. He jammed his wrist trying to make a diving play in right field and was shaken up. He has taped up that wrist. But this next at bat will be his first at bat since that play occurred in right field. Bases clean, 1 down, 2-1 Cardinals. Three and 2 now on Carlos Beltran, number 2 in the National League in homers. Will he get a fastball?
And this is his pitch, power pitcher.
He did. He flicked it foul. Again, 97.
You said Villarreal likes to come at you with that fastball, but as a hitter, you set me up. I know it's a 3-2 count, but you set me up for that breaking ball. If you can throw that breaking ball for a strike, because I have to look for that 97.
Beltran doing a very good job here, hanging in on pitches in the upper 90s. Good at bat for Carlos. Here comes the 8th pitch. And the 3-2. Down low, and he walked him. So he earned that one. And Beltran has yet to be retired tonight. 2 walks, 2 singles. This one coming with 1 down in the 8th.
Good at bat by Carlos Beltran because, like you said, seeing 8 pitches, fouling off some really tough pitches. And now we'll see how Alan Craig's wrist is doing here in this at bat.
Well, he had just come off the disabled on June 1st. He missed 14 games with a hamstring strain. Started the season on the DL, recovering from a fractured right kneecap. We rewind for you here, and the play earlier tonight in right field. You see the glove went off the hand, and he twisted that wrist back. Pedro has told us he has since taped up that wrist. Give him some more support here. He backs away from a fastball. 2-0. So Holiday out to talk with him.
One of the concerns about Villarreal, we know he throws hard, but he has a lot, racks up a lot of strikeouts, but also gets the walks up there as well.
Jeff Jones, pitching coach, heading out to the mound. Of course, the Tigers are concerned about Valverde, their outstanding closer. For more on that, let's go to Pedro Gomez.
Yeah, Dave, he was warming up last night for a save and threw about 15 warm-up pitches in the pen, and on the last one felt a twinge in his wrist. So he told me it's something he's never felt before in his career. Hand specialist was here at the stadium tonight to check him out. Said it's a little bit of an impingement of a ligament. They are resting him for 4 days. He's going to throw again this weekend in the bullpen. If he's okay, he'll be ready to close again. If not, look for the disabled list for Jose Valverde.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Pedro. Sounds a little ominous. The count 2-0 on Craig. Beltran at first base, 1 down. St. Louis trying to add to a 2-1 lead here late. And the fastball pumped in at 97.
That's the pitch I'd be looking for. It was 2-0. You had coach just come out there. You know he's going to come out with you the fastball, trying to get that strike.
Craig with a base hit his last time up in the 6th inning, 1 for 3. Here's the 2-1, will not be made, and another toss over to first base. Beltran back in. Carlos, of course, has always been a fine base stealer. He stole his 300th career base last Friday, becoming the 8th player, first ever switch hitter with 300 homers and 300 stolen bases. First ever switch hitter to accomplish that. Popped up down the right field line. Bosch, does he have room on the warning track, but it's off into the stands.
This is some pretty good company he's with. I mean, the names on this list. Wow. Willie Mays, Andre Dawson. Just name a couple on there. It's incredible.
Well, I don't think he's going to steal 160 bases, 162 the rest of the way to catch Bobby Bonds. But it's a reminder of the all-around game of Carlos Beltran. He flirts towards second base and now balked. And it was Beltran who caused this. As he was darting off the bag, started, stopped, was heading back to first. And Villarreal caught him out of the corner of his eye and he balked.
Yes, Beltran started to take off. His timing, Villarreal. And because of him taking off, it made Villarreal twitch. See that? He moved his front. See that? He made his front leg twitch. Watch here, he's ready to take off. He sees it. Oh, that's a balk.
So that runner now and second base here with 1 man out. And a base hit by Craig could pick him up. And the Cardinals would get some nice breathing room here. He knocks a foul backward. 2-2.
Good job by Villarreal right there. Because after you make that balk, oftentimes you lose your concentration. You're thinking about how could I do that? And he comes back with a fine pitch to Alan Craig. I mean, Craig just fought that off.
Craig may step up here and rip one 345 feet, but he looks like he's hurting a little bit. There wasn't much behind that swing. 2-2. He left it low for ball 3. This has been a bit of an issue for Villarreal. The walks have been a problem. Only 1 out, 2-1 St. Louis. Right-hander really slowing it down. This is the 20th pitch of the inning. Molina on deck. Slicer foul. 98 that time.
'98 and just getting a piece of it. You're right. Craig doesn't look too comfortable in the box right now. I mean, just the faces he's making, slight grimaces here and there.
Now the 3-2 again. Got a piece of that one at 98. That looked like a little bit more of a confident swing, but still the look on his face is of a guy in some pain.
And here's a good pitch on the outside corner, and he just gets a piece. That's a good job getting a piece of that ball to stay alive.
Beltran at second base, 1 away. In there for strike 3. Was not the fastball, caught him looking.
Wasn't the fastball. That was just a nasty breaking ball. That's one as a hitter, you're like, that's unfair. You're coming at me with these fastballs, and then you break off a slider that catches the bottom of the strike zone. Nothing you can do with that pitch right there. I mean, it was just a great pitcher's pitch.
So 2 down. That sends up Yadier Molina, 1 for 3 with a single tonight. But he's driven in 37 runs. So the catcher has been very productive. He's also hit 9 homers. He looks at ball 1. Molina tied for first among National League catchers in home runs and RBIs. Looking to pick up RBI number 38. Rocketed and dropped by Peralta. Rolls behind him. Here comes Beltran. He is in to score. And St. Louis has a 3-1 lead when the inning should be over. Peralta can handle the line drive. A play he should have made. That costs a run, and the Cardinals get some extra breathing room.
Well, this is obviously a line drive hit right at him, and when Peralta just took his eye off of it, it's obviously a play that he should make right here and end this inning, and instead goes off his glove and the run scores.
So here's David Freese, and the inning's still alive. An error on Peralta, and popped up off the hands into short right field. Santiago out, and he does grip that one, but the error is costly. Another run in for the Cardinals. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers running out of time. 3-1 St. Louis. The NCAA College World Series continues tomorrow at 5 Eastern on ESPN2. It's Florida State facing the Arizona Wildcats. That's the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. Tomorrow at 5 on ESPN2, ESPN3, and live on Watch ESPN. Omar, you just got back from Omaha.
Yeah, Arizona is just 1 win away from going to the championship series.
Schumacher moves from center over to right field. Craig is now out of the ball game. We thought he might exit. He was still grimacing. That wrist was obviously still hurting him. And Shane Robinson goes into the game as the new center fielder. Westbrook still pitching. He's tossing a dandy here in Detroit tonight. Getting the leadoff man here, Austin Jackson, gets him in a hole 0-2. Jackson's gone 2 for 3 with a single and a double.
Still keeping those hitters off balance. I mean, really handling that outside part of the corner. Then he's able to come back in with that sinker. It's either the guys either swing and miss or to top that ball and hit a ground ball.
0-2, little chopper over the top of the mound, charging Descalso, got him. He reacted quickly.
Well, Westbrook's been really effective all game, keeping that ball down in the zone, getting guys to swing over off-speed pitches, burying them down, and then going on the outside with his fastball, showing good control. And then because he's down in the zone with the movement on his pitches today, he's able to get hitters to get on top of those balls and induce those ground balls. Just a fine job all around.
Yep, he has not allowed a leadoff man to reach in 7 straight innings. Here's Quentin Berry, who's gone 0 for 3. Right back to the mound, knocked down by the good fielding Westbrooks, and he guns on to get him. And Berry almost took a tumble there at first base. He almost took a spill. He was able to maintain his footing, and they're 2 down.
And Westbrook doing a good job. He gets into a good fielder's position after he releases the ball. He knocks this down, and watch Berry over there at first base. Oh, wow, it looks like he kind of stuttered step over there.
Well, he appears to be all right. And here's Miguel Cabrera, possibly for the final time tonight. He's had a quiet evening. He's 0 for 3. Prince Fielder is 0 for 3. Cabrera looks like he's headed to his 7th consecutive All-Star game. And he's only 29 years old.
That's hard to believe. Everything he's accomplished in his career, and it's hard to believe that he's only 29.
It hasn't all been perfect for him, of course. He's had public bouts with alcohol abuse, but he seems to have conquered those demons. And right now he is smack in the middle of any conversation about the game's top 2 or 3 hitters.
Ball coming out of the stands. Cabrera recognized that right away. He stepped out and pointed at it.
Well, he'd like to knock one into the stands, which would be his 15th home run. Instead, a bounding ball, and that's fair behind third. Freeze, long throw, got him. Boy, Westbrook just mowing them down with one ground ball after another. 14 ground ball outs for him through 8 innings. Upcoming games on ESPN Sunday, the Yankees and the Mets, an all New York encounter. How about this? Sabathia and Dickey are the probables. On Monday, the Indians and the Yankees. Will have that for you in Monday Night Baseball. Next Wednesday, we're in Texas. Mark Mulder will join us. The Tigers and the Rangers. Josh Hamilton top 3 in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. And recently back from a pretty nasty virus. He was hospitalized briefly on Friday. First pitch is down low, ball 1 on Matt Adams, who's gone 1 for 3. Dwayne Below is the new pitcher for Detroit.
Well, Below comes at you with a fastball, slider, changeup, curveball.
Adams with a base hit in the 5th inning. Descalso after him, then Rafael for call. It's 8-9-1 for St. Louis. They're on top 3-1. Cardinals got a run without a hit in the last inning. A mile-high pop-up by the big lefty. Santiago will make the catch. Had to fight it a bit, but he makes the grab. Back to the studio for an update. And here's Steve Berthiaume.
Thanks. Crucky's on the phone. Crucky, we're doing a cut-in. David Wright, Mets and Orioles. This is where you talk.
Well, David Wright, a big RBI. That's what's helping the Mets stay in front of Baltimore.
Nice work, Crucky. Nice work. Dylan G is pitching a beauty. The Orioles have only 2 hits. Back to David Nomar. He's on the phone.
I wanted to know what Crucky was ordering.
I think he was texting you.
Here's Descalso, 0 for 2 with an RBI and a sacrifice. 3-1 Cardinals. We're in the 9th inning here in Detroit, in a game that has moved along quickly. 38,871 on hand. They've been drawing very, very well. 38,000 a game here in Detroit. The owner, Mr. Ilitch, has put a lot of money into this club and expecting a big return this year. And only recently have the Tigers started to play like that favorite in the Central. They did right out of the gate, Nomar. They went 9-3, then tailed off wickedly.
I mean, in those first 12 games, I mean, you could argue that they looked like they were the best team in baseball. They were playing great. Looked like they were going in all cylinders. They had a solid lineup. They were also healthy as well, which helped a lot.
Yep.
And then they've dealt with some injuries. Both these teams have dealt with some injuries.
I love what Jim Leyland said. He said, you know, now we're starting to play the way we know we're capable of. We know we lost people off the bandwagon. Lined up the middle and a base hit. So Descalso is on for the first time tonight. And he said we have to earn those people, getting them back, and we have been. And we hope they'll return. But on the short end of it so far tonight, and Rafael Furcal will march up. We'll see what he's up to as he looks down at his third base coach. Rafael 1 for 4 in this one.
See if they think about maybe putting on a hit and run or get some movement on there in the bases. And you are up by 2. Got a guy home plate who does handle the bat well.
Let's see if they press the issue in the 9th. He takes a strike. Well, due up in the bottom of the 9th inning for Detroit. It's fielder Delman Young and Brennan Bosch. They can all hit the ball out of the ballpark. Obviously Prince can. Westbrook looks like a very cool customer tonight, though. Line drive and a base hit, and almost took the pitcher Bilo with it. So Furcal may be out of that slump.
Look at that one, that last line drive, you know, that he hit off Santiago's glove, and he stays on this one from the right side, going back up the middle. You know, I'll tell you what helps a hitter out was the fact that his last hit, one, you hit it hard and you got to take something positive, but the fact that he didn't come up with it, it's a little bit different. Had Santiago came up with a tremendous play when he dove and snatched that, because you're going, gosh, nothing's going right for me, and it just loses your confidence. But you get that hit, you feel good, and you come back with another base knock up the middle.
So he has hits his last 2 trips, and here's Schumacher. Ground ball to the second baseman. Santiago feeds Peralta, and out there on the first, close, got him, double play. That retires the side, 4-6-3. Westbrook will be heading to the mound in a moment, looking for the complete game win in Detroit. He gets fielder Young and Bosch in the bottom of the 9th. The sun has set here. That's Windsor, Ontario, looking back at Detroit, and the city all lit up. But right now, their Tigers, as we have hit dusk, are trailing 3-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals, and Westbrook tries to finish it.
Trying to finish it, you can see that sky. One thing he's done a good job is keep that ball down in the zone to get the ground balls. But if there is anything popped up, got to make sure guys are pointing at the ball, because it may be tough to catch because of that dusk.
They've been concentrating on everything down tonight, because it has been 14 ground balls for outs. Prince Fielder has gone 0 for 3 tonight. He has grounded out twice himself and flied to right, and he'll take strike 1 as they overshift on Prince. Hard grounder, but foul, and he's quickly in the hole, 0-2. The last complete game for Westbrook was May 16th, 2010 at Baltimore. So it's been a while. He has 13 in his career. 1-2.
This has been vintage Westbrook when he is on, when he is throwing strikes, when he has so much movement on his sinker ball. He gets so many ground balls. He's getting ahead in the counts.
Bounced it there, 2-2. Delman Young on deck for Detroit.
As we give him a compliment, those last 2 pitches probably been the worst pitches he's thrown all game, and that have really been off. So everything else has really been on the corners.
Rally caps on for the Tigers. Hard shot caught right along the line by Adams, playing no doubles, right on top of the chalk practically. He's not there. That's a double.
This was a rocket. I don't know how Adams saw this. I think it was just trying to protect himself. I mean, this was an absolute rocket. I mean, when you're a hitter and you hit it and you can't even move yet and he's already caught it, you're just finishing your swing and it's already in the glove of the infielder, you know you've hit a rocket.
Well, that brings up Delman Young. Baseball tonight coming your way next. Young's gone 1 for 3 with a double. He is not up there to take ball 4, that's for sure. He's behind 0-2. He's been over 100 plate appearances since he last took a walk. He wants to swing it, the 0-2. Check swing and a foul off the catcher. That got Molina.
Let's see where this ball catches Molina. I mean, those catchers take such a punishment. Oh, you're like, gosh, I have all this padding on. I have the shin guards, and the ball always seems to find where there's no padding.
Got him on the thigh. Down he goes, swinging for strike 3. 2 down in the 9th, and Westbrook is 1 out away from a complete game.
What a great breaking ball by Westbrook. I mean, he's coming in with the sinker and then going outside with the slider and the outside part of the plate, starting off on the corner of the plate, and it just continues breaking away, swinging right through it.
Now the lefty Brennan Bosch in there for a strike. Only one of the last 17 Tigers has a hit. Jake Westbrook. He has been masterful in this one. He's allowed only 5 hits tonight. He was actually trailing until the 5th inning, 1-0. Broken bat line foul. 0-2 on another Detroit Tiger, and Bosch needs a new stick.
I mean, this is what Westbrook has frustrated you as a hitter, because it's very difficult to really square the ball up. We saw Prince Fielder square the ball up and hit an absolute rocket, but he hasn't been hitting the barrel of those Detroit Tigers this entire game. He's really been, you know, jamming guys, getting guys hit him off the end, getting them to hit the top of the ball.
The 0-2 to Bosch, swinging a ground ball. Well, this is fitting, isn't it? Descalso there, and the ball game ends on a 4-3. Only one of the last 18 Tigers had a hit off of Jake Westbrook. He was brilliant tonight. That was a surgical performance, and he defeats the Detroit Tigers 3-1. The win to the Cardinals. Westbrook now 6-6.
Well, Westbrook, I mean, he was definitely the star of this game, just throwing a tremendous game, keeping the ball down the zone, utilizing the defense behind him. From an offensive side for the Cardinals, I mean, it wasn't necessary. They got 1 sack fly, they got 1 run on an error, and they got a run on a double play. So doesn't matter how you get him, as long as you get him, and especially when you have a performance like that by Westbrook, it's a good win.
So in a night where baseballs were flying out of ballparks all over the majors, and they'll talk about that on Baseball Tonight, Jake Westbrook made sure to keep it down, and it paid off. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Nomar Garciaparra, Pedro Gomez, and our entire crew, I'm Dave O'Brien saying good night from Detroit. Final score 3-1 St. Louis. Westbrook was outstanding. Now to Steve and John in the studio.